that Megan is holding on to this so much, it is giving like
It's giving
giving another
femcell.
flavor.
Femcell. Because you know
Explain,
what it
explain to
really
us.
is. Hello, you're watching Black by Reality, a podcast for Black by baddies and those who love us. We are wrapping up Cruel Summer. This whole season started with the mystery of who killed Luke, and we've had theories change throughout time, but we finally have some answers, and we were a little bit right and a little bit wrong. We're going to talk about that. I'm back with my co-host for this series, Alisha. Hi, Alisha.
Oh no, I'm frozen again. Why does this always happen with the intros?
I don't know. I really don't know, but we're just going to
Um,
wait for it to unfreeze.
oh, there
There
we
we go.
go. Hi. Hey,
Hi.
Nicole. You look amazing.
Thank you, and so do you. I love the purple.
Hi. Oh, thank you. This is one of my favorite colors.
Good, good.
Real quick, shout out to you. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to you and to our listeners. You know, this is your first podcast, and this is the first uh, series review that you have
Mm-hmm.
completed.
I
So,
know.
congratulations. This is a big deal. I'll Venmo you for
Thank
ice cream
you.
later if you want ice cream
Oh
or
no.
like something sweet. I'll Venmo you for something sweet to get to celebrate.
Oh,
Um, but yeah, congratulations. Yeah.
thank you. And thank you for starting with me on this journey. So I know it's like
Yeah.
a lot of work, but it's been like a lot of fun too.
It has been a lot of fun. It's definitely
Mm-hmm.
taken me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's all good things, and I'm
Yes.
happy. I'm just excited for you. Um, but so we are here. We're finally here. We finally know the truth. Should we start with initial thoughts, or do you want to go
Yeah.
straight in?
We got to do initial. How are we feeling?
I have a lot of feelings. I have a lot of thoughts.
Okay.
I'm trying to parse it out. But I would say initial thoughts. Did we need 10 episodes? Felt like this was a long journey and some things that they showed to us to throw us off, there was no payoff in the end. Like there were some characters and some open questions that were just not resolved. Jeff being one of them, Lisa being one of them. Like I still don't know like what was the meaning of these characters if they're not
Oh,
going to be fully realized. Um Isabella, I have a lot of thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts, but let's
okay.
I'll make that my initial is that did we need to take this long? I did like the finale. I'm not gonna lie. I did like the finale, but the end, the very,
Mm-hmm.
very end did not feel
Mm-hmm.
earned to me, and
Mm.
it didn't feel like a valid enough ending. I would have preferred if we end with Brent accidentally got into some fuck shit because in the beginning of this series with you
Yeah.
I was like there's some generational curse happening with the
Yes.
chambers, and we finally
Absolutely.
saw that resolved. But those are my initial thoughts. Good
Yeah.
finale. The ending itself didn't work for me, and also did we need to take this much time, especially since there were so many open questions that were not resolved by the end.
I know. It was very interesting what they pick and chose to like dive into and not dive into. And I think, this is the Black by Reality podcast. We were very aware when we started that Cruel Summer is not technically like a black show, although we got a black co-star this season. I think the whole time when we were diving into this, I was painfully aware this is still a writer's room, like a white writer's room. And that's why I was like, Isabella's not here for no damn reason. She gonna be a culprit in some way. I don't trust them. And I knew, and like, and
I know,
and
but
the inconsistency in her what were going on mentally, because they wanted to do the whole single white female thing, and it's like that part doesn't
it
make
doesn't
sense.
it doesn't applique. Like it does not applique. Like Who, child? Should we just go into all of our thoughts? Because I've been dying to talk to you about this. First of all, you were right. Isabella is Joe
Oh, Joe Goldberg.
Goldberg. Yeah.
Joe Goldberg.
Joe Chambers Goldberg, okay? Because he's probably connected to this family too somehow. I would love to see an alternate universe. Anyway, Isabella is Joe Goldberg. You were right. You're right about that. I will give you your flowers for that. Ooh, my hair is like doing all types
and
of things.
Megan is so perfectly fit for being freaking Beck, because the whole first season we're like, what's so special
Right.
about this
What is
girl?
so special?
She's
but
a hot mess.
It doesn't work for me for Isabella to be Joe, because the reason why, okay, Joe is a monster. Joe is an evil character, but the reason why Joe works is because he is fleshed the fuck out. We see his bones, we see his meat, we see his blood, we see his childhood trauma, we see that he had mommy issues, daddy issues. Like, we know he is a fully realized person.
Yes.
Isabella is not.
No.
Isabella is not. It's giving like, oh my God, poor white girl Megan's life got fucked up because this black girl came
I
to
don't
town
feel bad
and shook up shit. And
bad.
I don't feel bad either. I don't feel bad either because Isabella is not a fully fleshed out character. Yes. Why is this person here? Like, what is the point of her, like, point? What is the point? Like, does she have an ex-boyfriend who reminds her of Luke? Is her father abusive? Is her mother abusive? Like, what is triggering her to fucking care? Like, what? Like, we have no idea. We know nothing about this person.
I'm still holding on to the fact that in like the first, maybe second episode, Isabella told Luke when they were driving up to a party, I think, in the woods, she was like, oh, I decided to stay with the Landrys because of Debbie's freaking letter. And what she had to say.
We never saw the letter. We could have had Isabella reading the letter on the plane. The fuck? Why are we? Why? Listen. Why didn't we get invited to write this season?
It's because we're not white. We're not white. I'm telling you.
She could have, or she could have been watching, or Megan could have found the floppy disk. Okay. Right after she's looking at this video that she found at the lake. Maybe we also find out that she stole the floppy disk before Isabella left, and she watches that too. Maybe that's too long of an ending, but what was on the floppy disk?
What was on the floppy disk? Why are you going to
show us a floppy disk and then you're not going to show us the floppy disk?
I'm so mad. I'm so mad for Lisa. Like, this is the thing too.
Justice for Lisa. Hashtag justice for Lisa.
If this show really cared about, oh, you know, poor victims of Isabella, justice for them, they would have included Lisa in that bitch. Where did Lisa's brother go? He reached out to me. But I'm talking from
unpopular opinion.
I'm talking from their perspective.
Yeah.
Because I think at the end we're supposed to feel like, oh my God, poor Megan, her whole life was ruined. Bull. Most of these people's lives were ruined by their own actions, and then they blame Isabella. And it's like, how? Okay.
Exactly.
We will go. I have the whole back and forth that Megan Isabella did.
It's good that a generational curse was broken.
Yes.
Okay, shout out to Brent. Okay, I'm gonna give him
a him.
Shout out. No, shout out to him.
Nah.
He broke the curse, even though fuck the police. Like, I think the criminal justice system is terrible, and this episode shows you, because like, do people really get arrested for accidental deaths? Does that really happen, or am I wilding?
They could if they find fault in it. They totally can.
But he's a minor. He's a minor. Is he?
Brent's like probably 18. He's away at college.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, like, it was an accident. It was an accident. He did
When
push.
Megan said that, I was like, get out of here. Of course.
If anything, they need to arrest the father. If anything,
he did. They showed up to his
they
place
do,
at
they
the end.
do, they
But
do.
no,
But like,
if I accidentally kill someone, I'm still going down for that. Like, that's not how that works. Like, someone's dead. Directly by your actions, you go to jail. That's just the law. Like,
even if it was an accident, like
yes,
even if it was an accident,
it would
I
have to
thought
be
that,
a
I mean,
very specific kind.
there at least needs to be a trial. There at least needs to be,
Yes.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he confessed, he turned himself in, but still,
there is
I'm
going to
just
be
like,
a trial. There is going to be a trial.
you're
And let's
right.
face
Well,
it, I highly doubt he's going to be away forever. Because guess what? He's still a white man. Like, I'm not feeling
you're right.
bad. I'm not
You're
feeling
right.
bad.
You're right.
I'm not giving Brent kudos because
I
will
do
tell
give
you why
him
later.
listen, I do give him kudos for breaking the generational curse. Spiritually, I give him his kudos. Spiritual fuckily. Because he could have easily been like, all right, I'm off the hook. Like Megan is the murderer. He could have easily done that. He did. So I give him kudos for that. I do.
I don't fuck Brent forever. But let's go through this episode.
Okay.
All right. So in the beginning, we see Brent did come for Luke. That's who he paged. And back at home, Steve wakes up to a wet floor. Brent's in the kitchen. He's upset. Then immediately Steve goes to the dog and starts shouting for Luke. I'm surprised no one heard because we see multiple people in this episode shouting for Luke. No one heard that.
I mean, I'm surprised that nobody heard when Brent and Steven were talking in his office and Brent's just like, I'm going to get arrested. Yo. Sloppy. And this is supposed to be a small town. And this is supposed to be a small town. Like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Megan and Isabella, they make it home after everything they've done. Megan's like, well, I'm going to go first thing in the morning, which is 8, to get him. And Isabella is like, wow, you're already thinking about going back. Which, honestly, if I have someone captive, whether I hate them or not, I am going to be thinking of like, oh shit, I left someone captive.
I wouldn't have even left him. Like, the fact that they left this person overnight to be... Like, what is wrong with them? That is so fucked up. Like, that is so fucked up. It's wild.
Like, and people can sit there and still try to blame Isabella for this, but at the end, remember, Megan stayed behind. She was very close to freeing him, but the minute he was like, I don't want this baby, we can go take care of it, she said F him. So she can sit there and still tell Isabella this is all your fault, but it's you.
We also don't know about what happened with that baby. We don't know what the fuck happened to that baby. We have no idea. Like, these writers do not know how to fact check. They do not know how to, like, how do you leave? So that's another question that's unanswered.
I don't think it's a question unanswered, honestly. So Freeform is a Disney. It's a Disney company.
Fuck Disney.
But it's like teens. I think she got the abortion. And we're just never going to say it out loud.
And they're just not going to talk about it.
It's a Disney show.
I mean, maybe that's why. No, that's not why. I was going to say maybe that's why. Because she was like, I don't have a lawyer no more. And she's like, I'm out of money. But then again, she would have been got the abortion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. Either that or she lost it. Either way, we're not supposed to care. It's truly a yada yada. I think she got the abortion.
I think she got an abortion too. Yeah. But continue.
So they go back to the cabin. He's missing. Yell and Luke. It's wild. And Isabella does tell Megan, she's like, maybe he fell and hit his head or ran away. Isabella, you almost immediately said what you knew happened to him.
Okay. I actually wanted to piece together that timeline because when is it that Isabella killed? I don't think it's then. Because she's not, is she wearing the same outfit?
Yeah. Well, it's the next day by then. So
I feel like she did it like after that argument. You don't think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought
Yeah,
she
I
did
think
it
so.
after that. Yeah,
She
because
had
it was
to.
nighttime,
Mm-hmm.
or it could be early morning. Who
It
knows?
was still
But
so dark. I think it
it
was
was still
nighttime.
really dark outside. Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe she did it that night, like after the Brent situation, or maybe it was the next day, like the next day after that argument with Megan.
Yeah, I think every time Megan tries to tell her about herself, she goes back and does something. Like, I think that's literally her MO. So yeah,
Yeah, she's salty as fuck, which I appreciate, honestly.
I appreciate too.
I appreciate it.
I
Like,
appreciate it. And I hope Megan's still facing charges for breaking into the police station like multiple times. And then also,
the use of technology in this show, like hacking technology, makes no type of sense to me.
no.
How do you hack into how do you hack into the police station as a 17-year-old? I mean, I'm sure there's prodigies out there who could do that, but like it still is not making sense to me. She did
It's
it
not
so
right.
easily,
She did it
so
so easily.
easily.
And she still
And that police
stole
officer
that
just happened to
seal.
be away from, she still stole the seal. That police officer just happened to be away from his computer. Like, this town is so
That's
sloppy. Like, everyone in this
mm-hmm,
town, sloppy.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, that's totally possible. People have seen like when it's other people moving things around on their computer. When you do like tech help, you usually like give someone permission to like take over your computer. It's
Yeah,
wild.
yeah. Yeah,
So,
you
but
do. You do.
it's
Like,
wild
Apple
that
does
she feels
that.
so comfortable. Like Megan, count your days of freedom because I don't think you're gonna have many, no matter what. And I'm glad. Count your days of freedom. Count your days of freedom. That's what I gotta say.
I think she's gonna get away with it. I think if she tries to
In
hunt
my
Isabella
mind,
down, though, she's gonna fucking die. I think she needs to open her pretty brown eyes and leave Isabella alone. I think she needs to, because I don't. If she wants to stay, Isabella can kill her. We see
she
that
could.
now.
She could. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I
But
think
I
she
want
needs to
Megan.
mind her business after seeing that tape. She needs to mind her fucking business. Like,
I want Megan behind bars. That's how
I
I
don't think it's
feel.
gonna happen. I don't
In
think it's
my
gonna
mind, it does.
happen.
At this point,
Okay.
instead, I get to make it up. She does.
Okay. Okay. Delusion,
Because,
like
no, but that case is already going. And that case is totally separate from this. Why would it not
I
continue?
mean, Freeform made it seem like that case, like Freeform just had that in there to make her not have her scholarship. Like, like they were not the same way that they were not trying to wrap up the pregnancy. They're not trying to wrap up this case, and they're also not trying to give
They
Jeff nothing
are.
to do. Like we,
They are. But that police officer arrested her, said, we have the evidence of you. They got a snitch. Jeff turned on her. She's done. Like, just when she was like, well, I'm gonna break in to like get rid of this, Ned is like, it's in the system, bitch. Like, you can't do that.
yeah,
It's gonna have to move forward. So Megan, you can try and go to Palo Alto if you want to. You're still gonna get a charge. Probably not gonna be able to vote.
oh damn that. But
So,
like
and
Isabella points out Megan's pick-me-ness time and time again. And she pointed it out now too. I mean, even though the boy is dead, she still had the nerve to be like, you are still a pick-me after all the truths that he said. You are still which is so I love that for Isabel. She's like, I already killed this young man. I'm not gonna tell you, but I'm gonna keep dragging you for being a
yeah,
pick-me. She
yeah.
had the nerve to say, I think she killed the boy. She had the nerve to say, I think he got off easy.
She stuck with it. She stuck with that lie.
She has a grudge. She has a grudge. Okay.
Yeah, she does. Yes, she
Yeah.
does. So we find out the whole runaway letter was actually Isabella telling Megan to do that shit. So forgery, what Megan does best.
Exactly. Light work.
Light work. And then yes, okay, let's break down the conversation that they have. So Megan and Isabella are talking again. Megan tells Isabella that Isabella is avoiding taking responsibility. Bitch. You are avoiding. What are you talking about? Isabella is like, you came up, you wanted revenge.
Yeah,
I
she
didn't come
isn't
to
like
you.
you hired me for this. Like
I
I
don't even
didn't.
think I don't even think Isabella said, "Hey Megan, can you make fake IDs?" She was like, "I just want to go to the club." Megan, you're
Yeah,
the one that you and Jeff were putting two together of making fake IDs. Isabella would have found some way to try and get in that club. So
Not
she didn't.
Isabella. Megan lacks accountability right
She
down to this young man's death. Because if we really calculate, everyone killed Luke. Everyone killed Luke. Steve
yes,
killed Luke. Brent killed Luke. Isabella killed Luke. Megan killed Luke. They all had a part in killing him. Like Megan,
yes.
you didn't have to drug the boy. You didn't have to liquor him up. You
Didn't
didn't
have
have
to
to
do
tie
any of
him
that.
up. You didn't have to do any. Who had the gun in the house? Like who? I still don't know who had that gun in the cabin. Where
I
did
don't
it come
know.
from?
I don't know. I don't know. Um, so then Isabella says Luke is exactly like his family, and she still wants to deny and say he's different. How? How is he
Megan, Megan,
different?
Megan even had to say that it's gonna be harder for her to forgive Isabella because Isabella lied about the sex thing. The sex thing is the
The
least
least.
offense.
First of all,
The least offense.
whoever Isabella is having sex with,
None of your
that's her
business.
business.
None of
That's her
your
business.
business. And it wasn't
You
even good. It wasn't even good. Like it don't even count.
It counts, but that's Isabella's business. That was not your man, Megan. That was not your man. That was not your man. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Like,
I'm still not over it not counting because it wasn't good.
you wanted him only after Isabella was messing with him.
Exactly.
You had the boldness to tell Isabella, like, oh, actually, I do like Luke. So then Isabella's like, well, damn, I can't tell you, I can't have a girlfriend moment with you. I guess I'm
Yeah.
gonna give you this boy on a
Yeah.
silver
That's exactly what
platter.
happened. That's exactly
Cause
what happened. Like I will give you my leftovers, no shade.
exactly, here you go.
No shade.
You wouldn't have a boyfriend to begin with if it wasn't for
She should have
Isabella.
said that. She should have. Damn. So many shoulds.
Yeah.
She should have said that when she was giving that speech about how like you're boring without me, which is the truth.
It's true.
It's the truth. You over here borrowing my clothes. You're borrowing my man.
Honestly, who's taking over whose life? Who's taking over whose life?
Period. Period. You probably don't even got good music taste. I put you onto the Spice Girls in episode 1. I did that. Like your radio is just playing country music. I'm the one who said you should travel. You weren't gonna travel without me. You weren't gonna do that shit if I didn't want.
Truly.
You don't even know what's outside of Washington.
So, yeah, Isabella's like, I pushed you out of your comfort zone. Then Megan said that if it wasn't for Isabella, like Luke would still be here. Isabella calls her an ungrateful bitch. True. True. Should say it.
True.
Should say it.
I also want to make a disclaimer, a self-conscious moment. I'm only talking so much shit about these characters. They're fictional.
Of course.
Yeah. Listeners, I hope y'all know that. If there were real people, we would have a lot more grace. Also, to add on to this list, like Megan being boring as fuck and Isabella putting her on, you wasn't even gonna kiss Jeff. You wasn't even looking at Jeff if it wasn't for me. Period. Like
she can't do anything on her own.
she can't do anything.
It's still always Megan's decision, like whether she was going to do these things or not. I really don't. I don't put it on Isabella of like, oh, Megan's search drinking and all that. It's like,
well,
it's
I put it on Isabella for putting her on though, because Megan probably had these desires, wasn't trying to do it because
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Isabella is hot shit. We know that. She's
Yeah.
psychotic, but she's a bad bitch.
Yeah. So, and she said if Luke was still here, he would still be treating you like shit. Megan then says Luke was right. Isabella just
Yeah.
wants her to be miserable. And it's like,
And
in what
that
thesis? In
and
what?
that actually is like a pristine Joe moment, because Joe had his moments with his girlfriends where he was just like, I killed your ex-boyfriend for XYZ reason. And you're still ungrateful.
It
not
is.
not colluding with Joe, not siding with this
Yep.
psychopathic murderer,
Yep.
but just drawing the parallels in how not only is there this element of like, you should be grateful to me for the ways that I make your life better and the ways that I'm protecting you, but then also the ways that they're delusional about how good the relationship itself is. Because we see that later with Isabella being like,
Mm-hmm.
well, we'll get to it, but like we
We'll
see
get
later
to
that
it.
Isabella is still in a fantasy land
Yeah.
about,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I think if she wasn't talking about literally Luke's death, I would still say she's right. Because, like, we just talked about all the things of, like, how Megan was really turning to her for help. Like,
yeah,
I'm
she was.
really trying to
She
think of,
was.
because the thing about Joe is that he does so much without the person's consent. I don't think Isabella stalks Megan. She just happens to
Yeah, she
live
doesn't.
where Megan is. And Megan's the one, like, it's obvious she wanted to be friends with her, but that makes sense because I'm living in your place.
Right.
Like, we should
Right.
at least be cordial. And
Right.
even then, it was like, it was Luke who had to convince Megan to not be a freaking bitch to Isabella. Like, Isabella wasn't like on her heels trying to be friends. She was like, moving on to Luke. And then, of course, that
Mm-hmm.
became a whole problem for Megan. So it's like, Isabella's not a coercive stalker.
She's definitely not.
She's
But the
spiteful.
way
She's
she is
spiteful in
spiteful,
the end.
and the ways that she wants to hold on to this relationship with Megan, and the ways that she, throughout the whole season, we see her like striving for Megan's approval. That is very Joe to me,
Yes, it
right?
is.
Like the ways
That
that
part
he's like
is.
glamorizing these women that he wants to be with and making it seem like, oh my God, this is the best relationship. I'm finally in love. Isabella has that similar mind frame going on.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So, and I just don't think Isabella actually wants Megan to be miserable. There's no
She doesn't.
evidence
She
of
does
that.
not want Megan to be miserable at all. I think again, Megan is a pick me. So of course she's
Yes.
gonna bring up this thing that this boy said, because also she's known Luke a lot longer. They're now romantically involved, even though he's trash. And also racism, I don't want to believe what this Black girl's saying to her. She
Yep.
wants to believe that
Yeah.
Isabella is not telling the truth. She wants to believe that Isabella wants the worst for her, because if she actually trusted what Isabella is saying, that would blow up her whole world. That would blow up her
Mm-hmm.
whole perception of self, her perception of Luke and his family, even though deep down inside she knows that these things are true.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
like, so this also really stems with like white women and like their version of like the world and like Black women,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
think a lot of white women will make a lot of concessions because they're so close to white men,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they don't want to see the patriarchy and how they will turn on them. Like,
The
they
patriarchy and how how it will one day, if it hasn't already, turn on them.
he made an unconsenting video of you, Megan. He played that in a freaking party. Now we do find out Luke did not mean to, and I knew he didn't. I knew he didn't mean to grab that tape. He was
He
shocked when
didn't
it
mean
played.
he didn't mean to grab that specific tape, but
Yes.
he did mean to grab a sex tape, which is still fucked up.
Bad. Bad.
Period. Like,
Not not consenting at
Period.
all to have that be
Exactly.
shown. And like he still went out and filmed that anyways for his own personal use. Disgusting. And Megan is very
Disgusting.
conveniently being like, but he was so good to me.
In what ways? Like,
In what
he
ways?
he treated you like trash. As soon as Megan and Luke exited friend zone, we see him really treating her in this misogynistic way. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I've talked about this before about how sometimes misogyny shows up in male female friendships, as in like, okay, like we're all buddy buddy when we're just friends, but like when it becomes romantic, there's ways that he's trying to like increase his social capital and his machismo by like treating her like a fucked up girl, right? and
Yeah.
and the sex tape was like the worst example of that. Like, so terrible that he did that.
Yes.
Both recorded it and that he accidentally showed it, but he still was about to put someone on blast if it wasn't her,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know?
Absolutely. And, you know, going back to like white women siding with white male patriarchy because of what little crumbs they get, we do see Megan get crumbs at the end of this. Brent wouldn't have turned himself in for Isabella.
Oh,
She
hell no.
absolutely benefited. So that's why she's still holding on to this freaking
Right,
trash family. And at
right.
the end, she's still going to, and that's why I'm like, I don't give Brent cookies. Cause
Mm-hmm.
what shows up when he turns himself in, it's not about I'm gonna end this family cycle. It's about whiteness. I can't stand a white person sitting in that jail knowing they didn't do it. He would have been fine with,
That's
actually,
true.
he might have been
That's
okay with
true.
Ned because Steve has something against Ned and he's a white man, but he's also, is Ned all the way there? Like, I think that's a little bit of like mental illness. We can
Ableism. Yeah.
criminalize that. And
Right.
then for Isabella,
Right.
he wouldn't have
She
cared. He
black.
called,
Yeah. He wouldn't have cared. Yeah.
he was calling her an import, like weirdly, like xenophobic the whole
That
entire
still
time.
stresses me. That comment still stresses me. Yeah, you're
Exactly.
right. It is Megan's whiteness, and it is the fact that like Luke and her were romantically involved. Like, had Megan been anyone else, he wouldn't have turned himself in. You're right. You're right. Okay, I recant my statement. He's not
I
trying to
do
break a
not give him.
generational curse. He is still somehow perpetuating white supremacy.
Yep. Absolutely. This
Whew.
is about whiteness at work. This whole season has. But I don't think the writers know that, is the
No, they
sad
don't
part.
fucking know that. And which is why again, like that that final moment of us seeing Izza like squishing Luke into the sand like a
Under her
bug
shoe.
under her shoe. That was
Under her
very
shoe.
Dom sub. But anyway, that's inappropriate. But in this context, but anyway, yeah, for that to be how this whole series ends, it's like it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me.
Oh, I like
Brent's
it. I like it.
really?
Good for her. Good for her. No. Because these white girls can go ahead and watch something like Midsommar and twist that into being like, it's a good for her
Oh
film.
my
She's
god, that
smiling.
movie is so creepy, and
It's
we actually can we talk about that a little bit?
no,
Because
we can't.
Midsummer.
We can't.
No, we can't. No, I mean, I think that that's an interesting parallel into this universe in terms of like, yeah, like who gets away with killing men, right?
Yes.
The only reason why I didn't like it, I liked it for Izza, but development wise, it didn't feel fully realized to me.
No. Her character isn't fully realized. But yeah, like an icon. An icon.
She is definitely an icon. And that boot.
The boot. The fact that it was a
Boot though.
chunky boot.
Right.
Yes.
Well, she like it was so model-esque too. She like looked to her left, looked to her right,
She was like,
made sure nobody was looking, and then she just casually like stepped. Yeah.
Never seen a
And
cuter
honestly,
killer.
it was a very cute kill. But again, I still don't feel like she just finished him off. Like she just hit like in Mortal Kombat, you know, she just did the last kick. but she
Absolutely.
didn't like really, really kill him. Like she
No, she did. She did.
she did. But again, everyone killed Luke
Yeah,
Chambers.
we end up going through the whole 2000 timeline from like Steve kind of perspective. He's pressuring the sheriff because he just wants. He's like, don't look too deep, just charge someone, which is like stupid.
Fuck Steve.
We know the sheriff got the tape. Megan's car is seen, but she was like, let me look at that tape some more because whoever came after, obviously involved, it was Steve. They confront his ass, and Steve, he's like, oh, well, you know, my investigator found out about Lisa. So he was threatening Isabella when he already was getting some smoke, which is, I hate you, Steve. Hate you. And then Megan and Isabella talk in the car. So this is what you previously were talking about. Now, Isabella says the last few days felt like the old stuff and like she never got to do a do-over with Lisa. And Megan was like,
Megan's such a bitch. Megan is
yo,
such a bitch.
yo,
Megan is such a bitch. Like Megan is just like, no, this is not friendship. This is us being accomplices and like needing to kind of figure out how to cover our asses. I said it way more eloquently than she did. But
yeah,
I mean, I have mixed feelings about that because like from Isabella's point of view, I feel like I've been sides of this equation in terms of like romanticizing a past relationship like Isabella did, but then also I've been on the side of Megan where it's just like, nigga, we not friends. We just happen to be trauma bonding right now, right? Like this is not actually what friendship is supposed to feel like. I can understand both sides of the equation, but Isabella always got the last word, okay? She basically was just like, you don't know what loyalty is. Like, I could have been in Paris right now or anywhere else in the world. You told my ass to stay because I can't leave. You imprisoned me and said I can't leave even though we're not talking, even though you're treating me like shit. You said I can't leave until we figure out how we're going to get out of this situation. I could have been left. We finally have a nice moment together and you want to tell me this isn't real? Like this is an abusive friendship actually. A very abusive
terrible.
friendship.
It's terrible. Megan's only loyalty is to white men and white boys. Like, that's because the whole time, and something she doesn't bring up in this conversation, but the whole time we know she's holding a grudge about the sex. And it's like, baby, you did not own him. You were not with him.
I keep forgetting about the sex. This is how much we should not pay, like, we should not put so much weight into sex. Like, this, because I keep forgetting that that this even happened. Like, it's not the big picture. It's not the big picture. And the fact that Megan is holding on to this so much, it is giving like
it's giving
another flavor.
Femcell. Because you
explain
know what
explain
it really
to us.
is. So incel we are usually familiar with, it's like a man who is so misogynistic, mostly because he's holding it against women withholding their sexuality. Megan's giving femcell because her big thing, because her whole thing with Luke in the first place was, I'm so happy
I want to be your first. Yeah.
First. Mm-hmm. She wanted dibs on his virginity. She feels
which is gross.
Which is gross. That was stolen from her by Isabella, which is disgusting. Megan is like, disgusting.
And first of all, this idea of first is like so fucking outdated. It don't even fucking matter. Like, it don't even fucking matter.
Luke is dead.
She's stressed out over dead dick. When it's just like, girl, you need to go pop it somewhere else. Like, that's what you need to go do. Well, you don't need to. It's up to you. It's your body. It's your choice.
She might never have sex
again.
No. she might never do it again.
This boy is dead. Y'all are accomplices. Y'all are accomplices. You was pregnant. Your so-called best friend is getting terrorized in this town. A Black girl who is empowered ever since she got into this town, and you never had her back.
Oh,
and you never had her back.
You know what? Also, something Isabella took that heat for nothing. Because remember, our whole theory was
Mm.
she definitely put in the tape. Therefore, like,
Oh,
she's
to
the one.
like to
She
get her to open her
still,
pretty brown eyes.
she still did that just out of friendship. And Megan has the nerve to
Yeah.
say that she only sees the wreckage of their friendship. Fuck Megan. Fuck Megan.
You're right. I forgot that we had that theory. Yeah, Isabella's such a good friend.
There's
Like,
evidence there. The writers, they still wanted to have a single white female moment at the end, so they added that. But there's more there about is the fact that Megan does not see how Isabella has been there for her at all. Like, I blame, it's mostly the writers who, they really did write Isabella actually being a very good friend, but they still wanted their little twist ending that it has to be girl on girl violence. I don't know why
it's
that's.
also it's also giving like this is Megan's first time having a close female friend. Like we remember that
Yes.
Debbie said this in the beginning. So
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't even know how to like comprehend their friendship. She doesn't even have like the frame of mind to be able to decipher between a good friend and a problematic one because Luke
Yeah.
is not a good friend. Luke is
Yeah.
not a good friend, he's not a good boyfriend, but she cannot even decipher that because of the ways that sometimes femmes can look at like time and history and investment as like the qualifier for a good friendship instead of like, no, actually, how does this person make me feel? How is this person treating me in this present moment? How is this person showing up for me? And that's all Isabella. And then yeah, coupled in with the fact that like Megan's a pick me. Megan is like, vying for the affection of the boys around her instead of this one femme who is being true. Like it's just a terrible equation for Megan. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if like yes, dealing with loss is extremely hard, especially that young, especially in such a traumatizing way where like you are somehow involved with this. I'm sure she's never going to forgive herself for that. But at the end of the day though, like Isabella has been a true friend.
Yeah.
She's been a true friend. And who knows
Up
what she was thinking in
to,
that
obviously, we're
when
talking about the murder.
up
Like,
until the
just
murder, but
wanna
again,
clarify.
up until the murder, and who knows, in her twisted pretty little mind she was probably thinking this is her last act of friendship.
Yeah.
She's probably thinking if this
Truly.
boy survives he's gonna fuck everything up, Megan's gonna
Truly.
get back with him, like let me
Truly.
just squish this bug and then I'm gonna hop on the plane, like you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, like she probably was like this is my final act before I bounce.
Yep.
um don't agree with it. Don't agree with murder, but it is giving, yeah.
Yeah. So also something that I think we skipped, there's a little queerness going on. Yes. Did you pick up on it?
Yeah, when Megan was doing her illegal shit on the computer and Isabella's like, this is kind of hot.
Okay. Here's my thing. This is also the writers doing too much. I think it is. I
Okay.
think that the writers really, I think in this last episode they pile everything onto Isabella to be like, this makes sense, like why she's doing all of this and like why she's in her villain era. And one of it is like she's now a queer villain, she had a crush on Isabella the whole time, and it's like, where's the evidence?
There is no evidence. I saw it as a queer moment, but I didn't even take it to heart. I didn't even take
Okay.
it to heart because I don't believe that Isabella is attracted to Megan. I just
I
don't.
don't
What is there to
believe it.
be attracted to? Like this person is not being good to you. She like she's a pick me. Like what, like there's not much material there.
No.
Um
No, but
yeah,
they really wanted to give like queer bi or pan
they
baddie
they did. And maybe
having,
Isabella is, but
yes.
I just don't think she has it for Megan though. I think
No. No.
I don't think she has it for Megan.
Let's
Yeah.
not. Let's
Like
not.
attraction is, and even if she did, like attraction is not a logical linear thing. So maybe, but like it's still I still think that there's something about queerness
Mm-hmm.
that it does make you like question attraction a little bit more or even a lot
Mm-hmm.
more than like
Mm-hmm.
heteronormativity does. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? So I feel like even if she was in that moment like, oh, Megan's kind of sexy right now, which is fine. Even if she did have that feeling, I still don't think it was deep enough for her to be like, I'm in love with Megan. No,
Yeah.
because I think she has the mechanics to be like, this person is not a good friend. She does not value me. She doesn't appreciate me. She may be, Isla may be delusional about the friendship itself, but I don't think she
Mm-hmm.
actually is like trying to be with homegirl.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I think the next big moment we just didn't talk is about Brent going to the police station. We already kind of talked about our takes on this. Yeah, I shook my head when he was saying what happened, and then Megan being like, "It was an accident." It's like, I don't give it. Who cares? The
I mean,
law
I thought it
don't.
was an accident too.
The law don't. Someone died. Someone died, and then you
Someone
guys tried to
died.
cover it up.
See, that's the part where it's just like, yes, arrest her. Because it's the covering up. Like if Brent would have took himself to the police station right away and be like, yo, I accidentally like I
Yeah.
can't find my brother. Like they would have had the resources to pull him out the water if he went in time. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Instead, like, yeah, instead he did try to cover it up.
Yep.
Steve was, but his instinct was to follow Steve's lead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which was a problematic lead.
Mm. When he said, "Well, it was Megan on the tape, not Isabella," so, and I was like, "Yo, Steve, let's square up. Let's square up. How about that? How about that?" I was like, "Thank goodness I'm not mad at Isabella for setting up Megan at all, because what was that? Nah." And even I
Oh
bet
yeah,
you.
I love that Isabella fucked up the because she was hiding her tech skills in her back pocket till the very last moment.
Yep. Yep. And for Megan, I think she's still so dumb that she's still gonna be like, but Brent's a good guy. Like when he goes and gets arrested and everything, her dumb self is still gonna be like, that's my bestie though. Like,
Brent is not a good guy. Like I do think he is trying to turn a new leaf, even though he still doesn't know what that means. But he is not a good guy. And like I don't even think he's just going to jail for this. He's also going to jail for those tapes.
I hope so. Actually, yes,
Like
I
that's
hope so.
also a part of it, right? Like
Yeah.
it is whether or not it is like actually definitely charges that happens against him, I still consider him going to jail for that too.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think the thing is, like, maybe not a good guy because she's always like, you're a jerk, but like, we love you or something. She always had that attitude. I think her thing is like, he's not a jerk because this part wipes away his sins. Our culture, influenced by things like religion and whatnot, they love the wiping away of sins part, and it's like, no.
Yeah,
No, that's not how that works. he
agreed.
he had no conscience when it came to all of the women that he did
All
this
of the
to.
girls, like
He had no conscience of how he was treating Isabella throughout the whole entire season.
exactly,
The
exactly,
only the only thing that kind of messed him up was like, oh my god, my brother, which understandable. That's like
understandable.
any human being would be really, really messed up. And like, even if he was free, he would have been on a drug habit or something. Like, he was not going to go down a good road if he was free. Um, so I don't know what Steve's
Mm.
game plan was, just I'm gonna continue bailing him out. But yeah, it's like, it's a guilty
And
conscience.
guilty conscience, which it's a good thing to have a guilty conscience. And I think that like us finding out the truth about the mother as well, about her death,
Mm-hmm.
that's like one of the questions that actually gets answered, where it's just like, no, like actually she was inebriated. And I didn't pick up in previous episodes that they were blaming Luke for her death. I didn't pick that up, but apparently they were,
That was the
which
story they
is
went
wild
with.
because he was a kid. He was a
Yeah.
child. Like, how
Yeah.
is that? Were they making it seem like he distracted her or something on the
Yes.
road?
Yes. Their whole thing is like, oh, she must have been looking at Luke, therefore died. Which in
Steve
that,
is so trash. Steve is so
and
trash. That's such a terrible
yeah,
thing to put on a child.
yeah. But it's like, yeah, it was just all to cover up the alcoholism of the mom. But I'm also like, why did Brent buy it? Because like Luke was like, you knew she was drunk. Like, we know who our mom is. And he was just like, no, and then
I
pushed him.
mean,
It's like,
Brent was decidedly delusional. Like I think
yeah.
there's ways that like he was protecting himself from believing that. And it's so much easier to blame the person who's still alive. And especially because they have that big brother little brother dynamic, him always teasing him, bullying him, like it was much easier than to process the fact that like no, your mother was an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
So Isabella's on a flight. She sees this little white girl. She's like dressed. You could just tell she's
she was
like,
white.
I thought she was white for sure.
I didn't.
Anyway, she had a
Anyways,
whole button up. She had like a bow. They
the
were
the
very
filter, the filter in
much.
that timeline,
It was so bright.
the
For,
filter had me not sure what her race was, but maybe she was white.
yeah. Um. But yeah, you could just tell she's sheltered. So she's like, oh, this is my first time going to Ibiza. And Isabel's like, I'll show you the ropes. Oh my God, I have this best friend, Megan. She's so smart. And then I'm Lisa. And it's like, so did she take someone else's identity?
See, going back to the ending, that scene is another reason why that ending doesn't completely hit for
It
me, because like
has to cut. Cut. They should have cut
they
it.
should have cut that out, because now you're making it seem like she is this person who just like hops from country to country stealing identities and killing people. Like, and then making up these fantasies about her friendships with people. Like,
Yeah.
nah, that needed to go.
Yeah. They
That
were
needed
so
to go.
inconsistent. They were so
So
inconsistent.
inconsistent. They couldn't figure out who Isabella really is.
Nah, nah. And they couldn't be bothered because she was black.
and
Like,
and also exactly because she's black, and also like in if they were to fully her as a person and fully humanize her, that would take away from this story being about Megan.
yep.
And everything has to come back to poor Megan. It can't just be that these are separate characters that are somehow intertwining and affecting each other. No, Isabella has to be here to conflict with Megan's reality. And
Yeah.
like missed
Missed
opportunity to
opportunity.
make
Because
Isabella more
Isabella's the
interesting.
more interesting character.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, she is,
the
hands
more
down.
interesting character. There was so much left on the table.
They gave us a similar narrative as the first season with like, well, except that like Megan's not popular.
Mm-hmm.
But like a similar narrative like of like the blonde victimized white girl, right?
Yes.
The only difference is that Megan has more that she's contributed to like the ending of the story. Like she is directly involved in all the crime that's happening, whereas Kate wasn't. Also, did you peep the Easter egg?
No, what?
Okay, we could keep going. I'll tell you when we get there.
I mean, this is
We're
the
almost
end.
there.
We
We're
talked
almost
about.
there.
Okay, so Megan, she's in her bed and she's crying and she looks angry. What's the Easter egg?
You skipped Megan like getting the job,
Oh
and then
yeah,
like
Ned.
when she's picking up her keys, the book, it's a Kate Wallace book from last season. It's a book of like last season, she has a memoir now about what happened to her in that basement from last season. So they're
Oh,
connecting the Cruel Summer timelines. This is a whole
okay.
universe now.
Yeah, well, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. I
Okay.
wonder if season three's Easter egg is going to be because, I mean, white girls writing memoirs about their trauma is a real thing.
It
So
is.
maybe Megan's going to maybe Megan's going to have one.
I hope not. I'd rather an Easter
I
egg.
would rather one too. Yeah, maybe she starts a fashion line
Mm-hmm.
or she becomes an influencer.
Yeah. Oh my god. That's it. I think at the end of this, would you say you recommend Cruel Summer season 2 to people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, take away all of your pride. If you want to have a moment, cool. But definitely like keep in mind that the one main black character is not gonna be what you hope in terms of how she's written, and that
Mm-hmm.
the other two black characters are gonna get enough time to play and like contribute to this storyline, right? They're just gonna be there in service of this white girl, and
Mm-hmm.
keep that in mind. But also, like, if you want like a mystery, yeah, if you
Yeah.
want a mystery, sure, you know.
Sure.
Is it going to be high on my recommendation list? No. But but I think that there is something fun
Yeah.
about mysteries.
I still say it's always been meant to be like a light summer show. But
Yeah.
yeah, just the fact that there's black people this time, how it really affected things. Um, do we have a BB moment of this episode?
Isabella choosing herself.
You say that? You say that like she went on a retreat or she got a
She did.
massage?
She's like, I'm about to go to Spain.
Yeah.
These is in Spain, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, she's like, I'm about to go to take ass in Spain. I'm 18, I'm 17. Like, I got a passport. Fuck this town. Like, I love that for her. We all want to travel. Like, shout out to that.
yeah.
Like,
Oh my god. You're being a
and
real Sag
she
right now.
and she or Scorpio Sag, and she knows that like she knew how to work technology, but she kept that card in her back pocket. We could all listen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Listen, hold your cards close. You ain't gotta tell everyone everything. You don't. Like Isabella is the golden child of that. Don't tell everyone everything. Keep some of your skills
Yes.
to yourself because at the last minute it might help you.
My BB moment is definitely ooh, there's so many ways to do this because like I loved her dragging her to her face. So maybe
Oh
that
yeah,
fight in her bedroom that
that
that,
fight was
that was good.
good.
But the tape was also good.
That fight was
That
good.
was
Yo,
competing.
did you see the when he got to arrest Brent? He was like,
The sheriff.
yeah, when he got to arrest Brent, he was so serious and so happy, so like pleased.
Yeah. Yeah. How he was looking when he was arresting Megan was very weird though. Like he was like holding her hands and
Yeah, he
I was like, why are we doing
I
it like
will
this?
say I thought that Megan's acting in that moment was the best all
Oh yeah.
season.
Oh yeah. She was
Like
desperate as
that
hell.
she was desperate as
Desperate.
hell. Like she did good in that moment. Her those like
Mm-hmm.
1 minute and 30 seconds of her getting arrested for this murder. She did her thing.
Our chaotic by moment, I will say, is just somehow Isabella's still having the energy to call Megan hot after everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely chaotic. That was definitely, I mean, she was being hopeful in that moment about their friendship because she was like, "Oh, we're close again." I think she was just in her feelings and getting
Yeah.
her hopes up.
Yeah. Like, girl, no. Not the time or place, but okay. So we did it.
I still want to know what was on that floppy disk.
Would love to know. Probably. Maybe we'll
And I
get
still want
something
to
in
know, how did
interviews, but
Lisa, maybe, and how did Lisa actually die? Like, now that we see what Isabella is capable of, like, was Isabella a part of that death for real?
and
You know?
I want to know why she had to die, because Megan's not dead.
Exactly. 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 Yeah. Why we couldn't have one more conversation with Trevor so we could find that out. The sheriff wanted to be like, "Oh, I had an interesting conversation with Trevor." No, Steve was like, "I had an interesting conversation with Trevor." What was it? Like,
Can
what
we
else
see
did
it?
Trevor say? Can we see it? And then again, why show us this floppy disk if you're not going to show us what it's about?
After this, for you guys, I hope you guys don't go anywhere. We still have a lot of content going on Black
Yeah.
by Reality. I am still covering And Just Like That. It's heating up, y'all. I think I can say it by now. Aiden's back, and Carrie's
Okay.
wildin'. Carrie's
I
wildin'.
don't know
So
any of these. I know who Carrie is. I don't know who Aiden is. I don't watch Sex
it's
in the
like
City.
if you, Alisha, this is actually perfect right now. Picture yourself at 53 years old. It's like you reach out to an ex right now after you already had a big love. He died. You reach out to that ex from your 30s and just try to pick it up again. That's what's happening on this show, and it's freaking wild.
I have no ex in my life that I could currently see worthy of digging up from the grave. So whoever
Now,
Aiden is probably worth it.
yeah, he's a good guy. Like
Probably worth it. Okay.
he's a really good guy, but it's almost like, is she worth
50,
it? Like,
50, 53 is a hot age, you know? Niggas is divorced. Okay, so you got like a lot of those like pressures that you put on
mm-hmm.
yourself when you were younger to like have your life figured out, have romance figured out, have
Yeah.
kids or whatever, have the perfect marriage. A lot of that is like out the door. So now you're able to love with a little bit more freedom. Like you have
Mm-hmm.
experience, so you're really,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you could be really good at certain things, good cook, good in bed, good listening,
Oh,
communications.
that
Like you
comes
know
up.
yourself a lot better. So I feel like 53 is an age to look forward to.
Next, we're also covering Big Brother. It just started. The Black House guest was not doing well in this first premiere, but guess what? Only one person should go home at the end of this week. So we're gonna stay strong and be very positive. And so keep looking out for that. And then, me and Alisha are taking a break, but maybe we'll end up covering something else, another scripted show in the future.
Yeah.
Um
Or a movie
Hopefully,
or an album.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So just keep in touch, and also you can still follow Alisha
Yes.
on social media,
Uh,
mostly Instagram.
ALI, ALI. It'll be cool if the words popped on the screen.
They do at the end of every episode. They do.
Okay, ALISHA dot ACQUAYE. That's
Mm-hmm.
my Instagram
Yep.
handle.
And follow Black by Reality on all socials. I'm Nikki
Mm-hmm.
Bernice on multiple socials. So yeah, comment below, obviously, all of your takes and thoughts about this
Yes.
season.
You forgot to
And
shout out your cooking series as well with Jordan.
thank you.
Very cute. Love it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We do
Yes.
TV to table. We take recipes from the shows that I usually watch. And yeah, make a whole recipe, maybe react to the show. The next one, it's actually Jordan's show. Jordan likes Seinfeld. There's a whole soup episode.
Seinfeld is like a thing for some Black people. I've never
It
watched it, but
is.
Yeah, is it the humor? Is it like something about the style of the humor that hits?
Maybe. I know my dad watched it, and because I just couldn't do it. Even as a kid, I was like, no. And like as a grown adult, I know it's so highly favored, but I just can't. I just can't. So yeah, Jordan's gonna be making me some soup.
Okay, what
So
kind of soup?
I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
Okay.
But it's inspired by that show. So keep an eye out. That's usually out on Fridays. Not every Friday. They're a little bit sporadic. It's a nice little treat on top of our regular stuff. So yeah, have a good one.
Thank you for being on the ride with us.
Yes, thank you. And
Bye. Oh,
definitely
I'm
come
too
back.
early.
Yeah, I just thought of it. I was like, definitely keep subscribe, even if you're just here for Cruel Summer stuff, because I feel like we're gonna do season 3 for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck. There's gonna be. Well, we got to see what happens with this writer strike. That's
Yes.
important.
All
Okay.
right. Bye.
Bye.